In a world where German sedans dominate boardrooms and Italian exotics rule the boulevards, there was once an American machine that stood as a symbol of prestige, power, and presence. A car so iconic, presidents rode in it. A car so elegant it defined an era of American luxury. And yet today, it lingers quietly in memory, more whispered about than celebrated. This is the story of the Lincoln Continental, a nameplate that shaped the image of American success for decades, only to fade into the shadows. But forgotten. Never tonight, we resurrect the legend. The Lincoln Continental is more than just a car. It's an institution. Born in the late 1930s as a bespoke vehicle for Edsel Ford, it quickly became the ultimate symbol of American elegance. Sleek lines, wide stances, interiors that felt more like a private club than a car. It was America's answer to Rolls-Royce and Bentley. Over the decades, the Continental became the vehicle of choice for leaders, visionaries, and celebrities. It ferried presidents, rolled through Hollywood premieres, and cruised avenues where presence mattered as much as performance. But as tastes shifted and the world tilted toward efficiency, tech, and European precision, the Continental lost its crown. What we're left with is a legacy, an icon that once defined American prestige, and perhaps deserves to again. Key highlights: features. Picture the exterior of the Continental in its heyday. A bold front fascia, wide chrome grille that stretched like a statement, and quad headlights set with jewelry-like precision. From the front angle it was unmistakable, square-jawed, commanding, dignified, the kind of car that didn't need to move fast to dominate the road. Slide to the side profile and you see what designers meant by proportions of power. Long wheelbases, broad shoulders, and doors that often opened with a touch of drama, especially the famous suicide doors of the 1960s models. This wasn't just design, this was theater. At the rear, the Continental carried itself with quiet strength. Large vertical taillights, chrome bumpers that gleamed under city lights, and a trunk line that seemed to stretch into the horizon. It wasn't sporty, it wasn't flamboyant, it was confident. Step inside, and the Continental transformed into a sanctuary. Plush leather, soft carpeting, wood veneers polished to a mirror finish, seating that felt like armchairs, not car seats. This was the car that made passengers feel important, not rushed, not cramped, just at ease. In later generations, technology crept in: digital dashboards, advanced sound systems, and comfort features that were always one step ahead of their time. But the essence never changed. The Continental was about serenity, not speed. Context and lifestyle appeal. The Continental wasn't just a car, it was an accessory to status. In the 1960s, if you were a president, you rode in a Continental limousine, John F. Kennedy's state car, a Lincoln Continental. If you were in Hollywood, stepping out of a Continental meant you had arrived. It was prestige without needing to shout. It represented a uniquely American luxury, not the old-world aristocracy of Europe, not the razor-sharp sportiness of Germany. It was about space, comfort, and quiet dignity. Owning a Continental meant you valued tradition, elegance, and presence. For decades, the Continental carried a cultural weight. Songs referenced it, films framed it, streets recognized it. It was as much a part of America's identity as the skyscrapers of New York or the boulevards of Los Angeles. Expert in industry and often called the 1961 Lincoln Continental one of the most beautiful cars ever made. Henry Ford too once described it as America's finest car, while critics praised its restraint in a decade obsessed with fins and flair. Even autojournalists today, looking back, call it the last truly great American luxury sedan, a benchmark of what Lincoln could achieve when it blended design with dignity. Collectors now prize well-kept models not just for their rarity, but for what they represent. A golden age of American luxury. Ownership feel. Imagine sitting behind the wheel of a Continental. The door closes with a weighty, satisfying thud. The world outside goes quiet. You're surrounded by leather and chrome, ambient light bouncing off polished wood. You grip the wide steering wheel more like a captain's helm than a driver's tool. On the road, the Continental doesn't roar, it glides. The suspension swallows imperfections, the cabin remains hushed, and every mile feels like a chauffeured ride, even if you're the one driving. And the presence, oh, the presence. Pulling up in a Continental isn't about flaunting wealth, it's about commanding respect. People don't look at you because the car is loud. They look because it carries history, authority, and refinement. It's the difference between a speech shouted and a whisper that everyone listens to. The Lincoln Continental is more than just a forgotten car. It's a reminder of when American luxury was defined not by lap times or touchscreens, but by presence, comfort, and timeless style. It may no longer roll off assembly lines, but its spirit lives on in every collector's garage, every presidential motorcade, every story of when American cars weren't just machines, they were monuments. So here's the question for you. If Lincoln revived the Continental today, would you want it in your dream garage? Or has the era of stately American sedans passed forever? Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this cinematic journey into the world of forgotten icons. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Rev Royale for more luxury car documentaries, and ring the bell so you never miss an episode. Because here, every car isn't just a vehicle, it's a story. And the Lincoln Continental, that story is unforgettable.